I never used to film from this angle very often, but lately it's something which I'm getting used to. The reason is it's so much easier to set up this camera than to either have the zoom camera which faces this way. It's like my screen's like that and the camera's there. It films me this way and I sit like that facing the camera. Or to have this ring light and a camera screwed into the part of the ring light where it used to film me. It's quicker to do this, so I'm doing this. I thought I'd do one of those types of drawings which I'm getting so distracted with this Pigma Micron 12. I don't know if that's a 0.12 nib. It's a fairly big nib. It's really, really large. See that nib? Proper bullet tip nib. And this is what I used. And as always, I'm drawing on my stock room down there. One of these. So that's what I'm doing in this video. And I don't know, it's abstract. It's an abstract drawing. I like it because I like to see what happens. That could be quite interesting to me because if I'm trying to do something specific, then I will push to get that finish that I'm aiming for. Sometimes I don't achieve it and sometimes I go past what was actually working fairly well with a more minimal approach to the mark making. Whereas with an image like this, it's more intuitive. And to be honest, the only thing that is happening is that I'm trying to stop myself from making it figurative. I'm trying to make sure it stays abstract because it's really, I get to a certain point and then I think this kind of looks like this. If I put more of this here, then it'll start to, and there's parts of this drawing where that starts to happen. I kind of capitalize on certain shapes and think this will now benefit from additional hatching. I don't know. It's always quite a meditative exercise for me as well. I always find it to be really calming, and I've done several of these. Part of me wants to go really, I don't know. I want it to be. I want to make a whole book's worth of this type of drawing, but to try to focus on the angles and the distance between the lines. It's hard to describe really because I like changing the angle slightly, but then it gives me figurative suggestions that this is something which goes like that, then goes like that, and it looks 3D. Not 3D, but it kind of gives this suggestion of a transition, and I'm not really keen on injecting too much specific indication that something like that is happening on the surface. I like it being really, really open to interpretation by not only you guys but by me as well, because I sometimes look at it and think, is this something there which I think there is? And I think I quite like it when I'm unsure, whereas with this I've already got a certain idea in my head of what I'm seeing. Hopefully you may see something different, and this has happened to me before where I've done little dashes all over the place, just hatching all over the place on a surface. And then when I show it to someone, they'll say, oh yeah, this is this and that's that. And that's things which I've not seen in the drawing. And I really enjoyed that. And that was years ago. And I didn't keep it up to the extent that that's just what I make now. Even though I think that's potentially could be a direction that my art goes in. I don't know if I'm able to commit to that. I really want to get accurate portraiture and landscape and more abstract with different media. I want to kind of get an understanding and a relationship with that practice before committing to one type of output. I don't know if it's important. I don't know if it's important for me to commit to one type. I've had this conversation briefly with someone in the comments of one of my last videos. Maybe it was my last video. And they said, you just do whatever feels natural to you. But I must admit, it's wrestling in my head is, should I just commit to this? Because I'd like to have something which is consistent as an output for people. And this is not like my previous video. I'm pretty sure my previous video was the mushroom battle. And that's not something I do very often. I don't do cartoony looking characters often, even though I love that. And that's not what this is, obviously. So I wouldn't want to leave that. I wouldn't want to stop doing the mutation stuff. And I could keep them all. Part of me thinks that maybe keep them all, but make this channel just one type of art making. Just so that you know, when you come to this channel, this is the guy who, all he does is hatching. So if I'm going to watch him, he's doing something else with hatching. That could be interesting. Whereas if it's one day it's mushrooms, next day it's hatching, the next one could be portraiture, or it could just be, I don't know, it could be painting or whatever, like something else. There's no consistency there. And I don't know how much I'd go back to that channel. I think that's what I'm trying to think of it, is like what I want to see this channel being. If I were a viewer, I think I'd like a channel where it's all hatching. Maybe I might do that. Maybe I should separate the things, or the other things that I do just become, like I've got, today I went to a frame maker's in a town near me, where I went to this place for the exhibition that I've just had, Movement in the Fields. If you've not seen it, I've done a couple of videos which talk about it, and went to this frame shop anyway and got work framed there, really good people. And I went about a week after the exhibition launched and took in 5 more pieces and said, I want these framed. And I was collecting those today, and they only had 4 of the 5, and one of those 4 was a painting, and I wasn't happy with how it looked. The frame was perfect, it was just the painting looked like it needed varnishing. So he took it out of the frame for me, I took it back home, varnished the painting, and then hopefully tomorrow they'll let me know about the 5th, because like I said, they only had 4 of the 5 ready for me. So hopefully the 5th piece will be ready tomorrow, and I'll be able to go in, take the varnished painting in, collect the 5th piece, and maybe even just take a trip to the gallery where I'm hoping to exhibit this work. That could be what I do tomorrow. If it is, then I'll film it and share it. Anyway, why was I talking about this? What was the point? That's what I did today. Oh, I think what I'm thinking is that could be something which I do, is make work that I go to a frame shop with, get it framed, put it into a gallery and hopefully sell it. And then separately, I have work that isn't framed that goes into an exhibition that's a bit more specific. And then separately again, I have films that I make that are for a different exhibition or for a different type of work. And then separately again, I have interviews which go onto a different channel. And then this channel just becomes hatching, because I don't think that'd hurt. I think the amount that you can do with hatching could be a really interesting project for this channel. I may do it for, say, a few months. Say every video I'm going to put out for the next few months is going to be hatching. I don't know what happens to doodles, because this is a doodle video with hatching, but I do other types of doodles, so I don't know where that goes. Maybe I'll do another channel for that. I mean, the problem I'm having is that managing all those channels, they'll just fall off, because this one I'm really investing in going somewhere. I've made another channel for the podcast, but it's not got the subscribers that I was hoping it'd have. I've not been putting enough time into it, and I need to. That's maybe something I could invest in. I don't know. There's another podcast that I've started, and that channel is up and running, and it's great. And it's not got loads of subscribers yet, but I'm going to make a video on this channel about that. Maybe after that I'll start doing the hatching, because what happens if I do that? There's lots of different art making that I do, but I like the idea of a hatching channel, and I enjoy hatching. I can quite happily just hatch for the rest of my life with different coloured pens or different thickness of nibs and different size paper and different concept behind the actual image, and guided or unguided, and right and left hand or just left hand, or whatever. Things that make it different, or just naturally letting the hatching become different. Cross hatching shouldn't be ruled out, I don't think, because cross hatching it's another thing that I find quite exciting, because it completely changes the texture of what you're drawing. It's a different way of drawing, is not doing outlines and not doing forms, just doing hatching. I'm doing a workshop soon about drawing into abstraction, and I think hatching could be a good stage of that workshop, because it removes all outlines and everything becomes a bit abstract anyway. This is certainly an abstract piece. What do you see in this piece? Do you see anything? Because I see something, but if you don't, it's you're not exactly wrong, but I see something. Do you see something there? And I wonder if I'll see something different afterwards. Maybe if I turn it upside down, will I see something different? Oh, I do see different stuff. I quite like it upside down. See, I like this type of drawing. I'm not going to lose the other type, because I love doing the other type, but I do like this type of drawing.